everyone, and welcome back to my channel Food Ventures by Yolanda. So for today's recipe I thought I would try something that we could have at tea time, and so I'm going to make a small little cake. It's called the Madeira cake and it's flavored with lemon, actually the skin of the lemon or the lemon rind, and it's also flavored with orange peel. Okay, so it has a basic citrus flavor. So if you are somebody who enjoys something that tastes citrusy, this would be a recipe you might want to try. The other ingredients that we are going to use, we're going to be using flour. As always, I will post the list of ingredients and the quantities in the description box. So this is flour, about 90 grams of flour, and about a little less than a teaspoon, half a teaspoon of baking powder. So I've sieved the two together and this is what it looks like after. We're also going to be using butter, about 90 grams of butter and 90 grams of sugar. I'm going to empty the sugar into the butter. Now this is what I used, but you can use any kind of margarine or you can use butter, unsalted butter. We are also going to be using 2 eggs, which we will just crack open and mix into the batter. Like I said before, we are going to be using the peel of an orange. So I will show you what we need to do with that to get the flavor of the orange into the cake. I'm also will be using some lemon essence, as well as a little bit of milk to make the batter get to the consistency that it should be in order for it to bake well. And this is an optional ingredient. These are basically just chocolate curls. I'm going to mix this into the batter. You also, if you want, you can skip it totally. If you want, you could also sprinkle a little bit of this on the top. That's totally up to you. So let's start. So like I said, I have my sugar and my butter in this bowl. And I'm going to be using my hand mixer to blend them together. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, you might want to take a look. It's called Food Ventures by Yolanda. This is my 4th recipe that I'm posting. So maybe you might find recipes in there that you would like to try. So we're going to be mixing this for about 2 minutes until the sugar and the butter or the margarine, whatever you're using, has been well incorporated. So we need to mix this until it's very well blended. It gets a nice smooth look to it. If you look at it now, you can still kind of see the grains of sugar in it. So while we're doing the mixing, let's turn the oven on. So I'm going to turn it on to 350. And that's it, and then we can continue with our mixing. we're going to add the lemon rind. So this is my little grater, and we're just going to be grating about a half a teaspoon of the lemon rind into this. Next, we'll add in our eggs one at a time. And the second one. Make sure you get to the sides so that you have all of your butter and sugar well blended. Now for the flour and the baking powder. So what we need to do with this is we're going to add a little bit of the flour, and then we're going to put maybe about a tablespoon of milk. Then we'll add a little bit more of the flour, and we'll add a couple of drops of the lemon essence. So we'll do this about twice until we've used up all the flour. So this is probably gonna splash. Now we're going to be adding a little bit of the milk. Then we add a little bit of the lemon essence. So we're going to be adding about a half a teaspoon in all. So I'm just going to add a few drops for now. Give it a little bit of mix. You can get the fragrance of the lemon essence. Now for some more flour. Now a little bit of milk, again about another tablespoon or so of milk. And a few more drops of the essence. That should do it as far as the essence goes. I'm going to add all the remaining flour. And a little bit more milk. Just run it around the edges so that you get all of the flour incorporated. So give it all a good mix with a spatula, or you can use a wooden spoon or even a metal spoon. Basically fold it into the center, go down, give it a cut, and then go back to the center. Now the last bit is your chocolate curls. So I said I was going to put those in, and I wasn't going to put any on the top. So this is about 4 tablespoons or so. You can add more if you prefer. So our oven is still heating. We are now at 287. So I'm just going to let this stand for a bit, and then I'll give it one final stir. So I already have my baking tray. This is an aluminium baking tray ready, and I have lined it with, I've put a little bit of butter at the bottom, and I've lined it with parchment paper, and so it's all ready for me to just pour my cake batter into it. Now once we put the batter into the baking tray and we put it into the oven, we're going to bake it for about 20 minutes, and at the end of the 20 minutes the top should have got quite firm. At that point we will place these pieces of the orange peel at 3 different intervals on the top, and let it continue baking for maybe about another 10 minutes or so, so that the flavor of the orange can get into the cake. So we're almost there. If you feel like adding maybe a little bit of a lemon color into it, you can do that as well. But there isn't really any need. It looks quite nice just by itself. So I'm going to empty this now into So I'm just going to turn it away from you for a little bit, just so that I get all of this batter. I guess being left-handed, it makes it a little bit difficult to hold it that way and get it all in. So let's not waste any of this batter. I'm going to try and get as much of it out of this bowl. Okay, so I've got all of the batter into that bowl right now. It's going to give it a little tap so that it spreads out evenly and takes out any air bubbles. And well, that's all there is to it. So we are at 330 degrees. So we just wait for a little bit and we should be ready to put it into the oven. As you can see, probably can see, it has splashed all over the flour. So my oven is heated to 350 degrees and I'm just going to put this cake into the oven. Okay.
Yeah.
Recording now?
Yeah.
So it has been about 20 minutes since I put the cake into the oven. So we're going to take it out now and see how it's doing. So as you can see, it's kind of firm on the top. It's a bit firm on the top. So now we're going to place our peels. So I'm going to be putting 4 pieces. And we're going to be returning this to the oven for about another 10 minutes or so. So it's been 15 minutes actually since I put the cake in the oven after I put on these pieces of the orange peel. I took it out after 10 minutes and I used a toothpick to check to see if it was done, but the toothpick didn't come out clean and dry. So I put it back in for another 5 minutes, and now let's take off the peels and give it one poke, and as you can see, it has come out nice and clean. So now what we need to do is we just have to let this cool for a bit. So I'm going to let it cool for maybe about 15 minutes to 20 minutes or so, after which we will take it out of the pan and let it cool for another about 10-15 minutes before we can slice it and take a look at what it looks like on the inside. So I'll see you back here again in about 20 to 25 minutes. So it's been about 20 minutes since I took it out of the oven, and as you can see, it looks really nice. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it out of the pan, sorry. As you can see, a nice clean bottom, and we will peel off the parchment paper, and it's quite cool at the moment, so I don't think there's any need for me to put it on the cooling rack. Instead, I'm just going to put it onto this and I'm going to slice it. So I generally like the slices small, so I'm going to cut this into 3. And then I'm going to cut it so I've got about 15 slices, and we'll take a look at the inside and see how it looks. And that's what the slice looks like, the inside once it's sliced. There you have it, the inside with a little chocolate chip. Like I said, sorry, the chocolate swirls. If you want, you can add some more chocolate swirls if you would like a lot more chocolate inside. So that's the Madeira cake for you. I hope you enjoyed watching this recipe. I hope you would also decide to give it a try. And like I said at the start of the video, if you've already subscribed to my channel, thank you very much for supporting me. If you haven't, then please consider subscribing and hit the notification button so that you know when I upload my next video, which would be generally on a Monday of every week. And please give me a thumbs up if you make this recipe and you like it, or even if just looking at the cake makes you want to give it a try, then please give me a thumbs up as well. And I'd appreciate any feedback from you. As you may know, this is just my 4th video, so I'm just starting out, so any feedback and comments would be greatly appreciated. And well, that's it for me. That's Food Ventures by Yolanda for today. Once again, this was the Madeira cake, and it's flavored with lemon and orange, so it has a nice citrusy flavor. And I will see you again in my next video. Until then, stay safe and stay healthy. Bye bye.